guys, it's Bridget. So I'm recording a video today that I have promised a number of you, and I actually created a blog post about it, but I thought that today I would actually do the video and get it posted for you guys. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing the contents of the blog post, which I titled Vision of the Future, Soul's Purpose. And in that, I describe the details of a couple of visions and a download that I received. And those of you that know me know I'm super comfortable writing because, you know, I love to write. I'm not as comfortable with video, and I think I'm getting better at it, but it's not my first love. Maybe one day it will be. But so today I'm going to essentially communicate with you while I'm reading the blog, because there are so many things about that vision that I really want to make sure that I don't forget to tell you about. It's so important. So I'll try to do it in a way that it feels natural. But, you know, when you have a vision, it hits you in 1,000 different ways. So you have, you know, the feelings, and you have the visuals, and you have the movie strips that play in your mind, and you have, you know, all of these other various things that make up the communication of a vision. And then you have to sort of, you know, digest it so that you can translate it and then put it into English so that other people can understand it. So as you can imagine, that's a really long process when you have a couple of visions and a download. It's a lot of information. So I just want to make sure that I get it all in here for you guys, and I hope you enjoy this. So, have you ever wondered how the world would be if we were able to relate to one another through positivity and feeling connected? Ever dreamt about a utopian version of Earth? Well, you're in luck. I received 2 visions and a download about the possibility of these realities, and you'll be surprised to know that even though we are currently experiencing so much polarity and witnessing such human on human and human on nature horrors, the people of Earth have a potential path with a high probability for achieving such a beautiful existence. And yes, amazingly enough, this potential path can occur within our lifetime. So earlier this year, I had many questions regarding the change I felt in my soul's purpose and my life path trajectory. The answers I received were an overview of my spiritual role in this world. I also received details of how higher vibrating transformation can occur on an individual and global level. So when they answered me, it wasn't just about me, but it was also about all of us. And after having the visions, I received the download as follow-up information. And as I said before, I'm still processing. That much information can equate to what feels like a lifetime of learning. But my guides have suggested that I go ahead and share it with you now. And then if I feel the need in the future, I can write a follow-up post or do a follow-up video. So yes, this is not a complete version of my visions in the download. However, I've definitely digested enough information that we feel it's perfectly shareable as it is now. And it is with great love that we hope you can perceive this potential path. If you feel called, feel free to let me know. You can let me know through Facebook, private message, in the comments of this video, in the comments of the blog post, however it is, just let me know. And please, whatever you do, take action. The beginning of the visions showed me 200 people all over the planet moving through their daily lives. So all of these people are on an enlightenment and ascension path is what I actually saw. And as they raised their vibration to love or above, the vibration of the people around them began to raise as well. It showed these 200 catalysts, as my guides termed them, acting as an awakening amplifier for everyone with which they came into contact. So merely existing in the same room, block, neighborhood, city allowed for an awakening for those around them. The first wave of catalysts awakened so many people, and of those people were many more catalysts. So as the second wave of awakened ones began to open, raising their vibrations further, their elevation followed as well. And as each new catalyst began to develop spiritually, they too acted as a magnifier for the next group's awakening. This was occurring basically simultaneously all around the globe on a global level. And it was happening so fast. My guides tell me that each catalyst, when at an optimal vibration, love or above, can awaken 100,000 plus people. And they say that some are going to be able to awaken 100 million plus people. And to me, that is simply, it's astounding. It's amazing. The vision showed me a series of personal memories next. And in my early 20s, I was more open and elevated than I had ever been. I was wild and free-spirited back then, partying and hanging out with a lot of people. And at one point, I was so open that my energy began to serve as an amplifier for the people that I was spending time with. As a medium, I'm used to seeing things that most people can't fathom. I, back then, was accustomed, and still am today, I was accustomed to my energy acting as a charging station for beings and people that have crossed over, your grandmother or, people of that nature, basically. But my energy with these new people, my energy was thrusting acquaintances and total strangers into what I call a blocked mediumship state. Basically, most people's their third eye isn't open or fully open. And they don't have 100% access to it until they actually, work to get it. So that's why I call them, the situation they were in was a blocked mediumship state. So naturally, naturally they would begin to panic at seeing streaks and lights and shadows and then sensing things around them that they couldn't quite see, right? So I eventually began giving these new people, anyone new that I was going to hang out with for a prolonged period of time, I would give them a disclaimer. And the disclaimer would go something like, you're going to see things you can't explain. It's not you, it's me. I'm a medium. You'll stop seeing things once you've been away from my energy for about 30 minutes. You're safe. There's no reason to be afraid. And of course, it was always an awkward, totally awkward conversation. How would you feel if you had to have that kind of conversation with a total stranger, right? But, I felt like it was fair to give them a warning. After all, hanging out with me was going to thrust them into the world of mediums without any experiential training, right? So, yeah, my guides brought back a flood of all these dormant memories. I saw myself giving each person the disclaimer and then them seeing and experiencing all kinds of things. A lot of times they would tell me about them. Sometimes I just kind of witnessed it happening. And then my guides, after they showed me this, they referenced this energy and correlated it to the energy of the catalysts. But they made a very strong point to note that it was not going to be the same situation exactly. But that catalyst would be an energy amplifier for the unawakened, unopened, and non-expanded people. This was basically a way for the guides to explain how the catalyst energy would work, but on a much purer and vast scale. So rather than seeing and experiencing dead people by an energetic charge that thinned the veil, people will instead receive a lift of the human veil of perception. The catalyst will serve to lift the human veil of perception for people. So everyone will then be able to discern concepts and ideals and frequencies and so much more that weren't really possible with their current level of expansion and enlightenment, right? So with this newfound vibration, they'll start to understand our interconnectedness with one another and, our connection with the rest of the universe. And with this awakening, the release of struggle, strife, doubt, and fear will follow right behind. It will bring this amazing, great freedom to each of us and to the planet. So then they cut to a bit of my personal path here. I was a first wave catalyst, but I was joined by a few friends that I won't name just yet. And we were spearheading an organization of catalysts, so to speak. We were traveling the globe, connecting with other catalysts, right? But it was our mission or path to create a global team of what my guides term expansion ambassadors. So they also showed me that we weren't the only people contracted to this soul path. There were many catalysts around the globe doing the same initial team building tasks, which I find beautiful. And eventually they showed me that our teams would merge. So my friends and I, they showed me that we were also multitasking. We had a sort of wellness center in our home city where we held various spiritual expansion events, and we also traveled to meet and invite others to become a part of our group, our global group of healers, energy workers, light workers, magical ones, spiritualists of all types, essentially. And so then they showed me that the sole purpose of this group was to assist humanity in any way needed as the needs arose, right? They show that there wasn't a leader per se, just organizers. And within the global group were facets that had specialties. And of these many facets were smaller groups which worked as complete treatment teams. So they showed me that as an issue arose within a country, the leaders would call us to send whomever was aligned to manage and raise the vibration of what was happening, right? So this was done on a personal level, person to person. The specific instance they showed me was somewhere in the Middle East. It was a country leader or politician, if you can call him that. He was so full of light. But he contacted me in my home office in the vision, and he told me details about a neighborhood of people who needed healing within his country. So in that moment in the vision, I remote viewed into the neighborhood and realized they were experiencing doubt, they were experiencing mistrust and fear, which I saw would eventually lean toward hate. And so in the vision, it was imperative that we send the pertinent group to the suffering people's aid immediately. So I made a call to a specific group, some of whom were already in the area, and the global team of expansion ambassadors gathered with the people to discuss the issues and help them move physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually past what they were experiencing. So each healer acted in their specialty role while they were doing this, but as a whole, they treated every aspect of each person. It was effective and it was beautiful to feel. No one was left to suffer. No one was left behind. After all, we understood that we are connected, and we understood that we are one. So my next glimpse was of global ease. And almost everyone was awakened and opened and expanded at this point. It was beautiful and peaceful and full of so much love. We also had a great understanding of our role in the universe. We were learning about our position in the cosmos. We were advancing technologically at, lightning speed, but doing it with well thought out technology and science. And at this point, I heard and saw a phrase, and it was, "Harm not us, nor the planet, nor our co-inhabitants. Create only what can be safely disposed of once its usefulness has passed." And in this part of the vision, it showed me that conservation was of utmost importance to us. We were awakened to solutions of and for our future, the future of our planet and all of its inhabitants. When I say all of them, it meant all of them. So the second vision, an immediate download, occurred shortly after the first vision. Many of my questions were answered about the first vision, like why now? How will this work on a political or governmental scale? I mean, look at the way things are right now. How do we go from the state that we're in right now to one of global peace, right? How is this possible? And the one that is probably my favorite answer is, and will this occur within my lifetime? So when they answered that one, I think I was very excited. I'm excited about all of it, but knowing the answer to that question really does thrill me. So these were some of my questions. There were others. There always are. And with the second vision and download, I was shown that the goal, and this is really important, the goal of the catalyst is to affect the vibration of billions of people who aren't initially willing to do it for themselves. They showed me that once awakened, people experience truth and will desire to open and develop spiritually, and that catalysts are basically a kickstart for those who have become blinded and weighed down by the human creation, and that we lift the human veil of perception for all of those who cannot see past its influence. This is a global event. They showed me that it's happening simultaneously across the world, and that many of us, right, have contracted at this soul path level to accomplish what our collective souls have cried out to change. I was shown also that humanity as a whole has cried out for the move from the age of Pisces, which is the mind, to the age of Aquarius, which is the heart. They showed me that everyone from newly incarnated infants to elderly people decided at a soul level that we want change. We've grown weary of the heaviness, the struggle, strife, disconnection, and they showed me that the next phase of existence as humans will be to move from the third to the fourth density. And this move came early, according to them, by about 640 years or so. And they also said that the transition began before 2012 and continues now, but that the main energy shift occurred around 2012. And I saw that with this shift, more light was allowed into each human, into our bodies, but also into our energy fields and into the earth. More light was allowed into the earth and the earth's energy field. And with the addition of greater light, they explained that confusion and the illumination of darkness came, so to speak. So what they showed me was that many people are holding on to the old age of the mind and are experiencing rifts within themselves. And the way they literally visually showed me the rift was almost like if you pull a zipper down and you allow it to separate. It was almost like that happened all the way down past their solar plexus, is what they showed me. And they also showed me that these rifts can be healed by simply turning inward and experiencing their own soul, their own eternal soul, which is filled with love. But that others are often confused by the shift and experience it as a drive for meaningful change solely in their physical lives. So what happens is akin to a midlife crisis that generally happens for particular demographic, specific times in a person's life. It's now affecting anyone at any stage of their life. So then they also showed me that there were yet others who were focusing on awakening, opening, or expanding. And they told me that each of these phases are as they should be right now, which I think is really important for people to understand. They said to think of them as a last hurrah on an experiential level. And then they told me that the people experiencing the first couple of phases will choose change in whatever manner is harmonic, and that these self-made alterations will occur as they are awakened to light, truth, connection, and all the other aspects of the enlightenment age. And then my guides also showed me a new direction in this part of the vision. They showed me that the awakened will begin to call out for political change, but it won't simply be with their voices. And they said as their energy shifts to hold more light, their desires will also shift. And in doing so, some of the newly opened will answer a calling of their path to move into politics. I think we are seeing that right now. We are seeing the beginning of this right now. And they said that this new breed of politician arises as the catalyst and awakened ones become numerable. So I think we're in the early stages of this. I really feel like there are many other people that are actually acting as catalysts and newly developing catalysts. And it feels like the beginning of this portion of the vision, really. So they basically said that people in every nation around the globe begin to make different social and political choices, right? They said that this new style of politician will be voted into all governmental positions. that the governments begin to make decisions from an enlightened vantage point instead of, one of power and control, and that the global changes are enacted from government levels based on the illuminated viewpoints and expressions found with expansion and enlightenment. They said that global peace occurs once the governments are transformed through the awakened leaders. And around this time, our global group of light bearers and expansion ambassadors are set in motion. Now, the term catalyst and the term expansion ambassadors, both of those were created by my guides. I think it's the closest to the resonance of what we will have, those two terms. I'm not sure what names we'll go by, and I think if we need titles, the group will decide. And then my guides then explained that all of this can transpire without violence. So those who struggle will feel ease once the awakening occurs. And the best part, yes, all of this occurs within my lifetime. And that means it occurs within your lifetime. And so you can see that the closest thing to a utopian planet that I have ever dreamed about is a potential path with high probability. And I'm committed to seeing it through. And it's my humble hope that you are too. So I guess my next question is, do you resonate with the catalysts or the expansion ambassadors? And I think if you do, you should send me a message via Facebook, private message, or even a comment on my Facebook page, or find me through Instagram and private message me, or comment on one of my photos, or however you contact me, it doesn't matter. Just get a hold of me so that we can have more discussion and further details given to you if you are in harmonic resonance with this message, or if you feel a harmonic resonance rather with this message. And above all else, I think it's really important for this potential path to get out and be spread to the general population of Earth. So if you feel a resonance with this vision and feel as though you might be a catalyst or an expansion ambassador in the making, pass it on. Pass this on, whether it's my video, my blog, or just simply telling your friends and family about it. Get people thinking about this, because I know the power of manifestation. I understand that we have many paths that we can be facing right now. Many potential paths are out there. And this one, has a strong enough pull that we could turn things in a direction that would be a really beautiful direction. And as always, parts of this path could change based on, global desires, right? But this gets you going. This is actually, kind of an initial way to get yourself into a very good hope and love space, and use this as something that propels you toward being your best you. And so I really, really hope that you enjoyed this, and I thank you so much for listening. I know it was long, and so much love to you, and I can't wait to see you next time.